Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss about inserting the records in database table. To insert the records in database table, we use insert into command. Let's look at the syntax of inserting the records. So here is the syntax. It is insert into table name. Then we need to define the column names on which we want to insert the data inside the brackets. After this, we need to use the keyword values, and then we can define the values for the columns we have declared. Let's look at an example and insert a record in employee table which we have created in the last lecture. So here we are in our SQL developer. Let's insert one record into employee table. So we have written a query insert into table name employee, and so we have written a query insert into table name employee, define the number of columns on which we want to insert the values. So these column names are employee ID, employee name, job, salary, manager ID, commission, hire date, and department number. Then we have used the keyword values, and then we have defined the values for each column. So for employee ID, we have given the value as 7369. For employee name column, we have given the value as Smith. Likewise, for job, we have given as clerk. For salary, we have given 90,000. For manager ID, we have given 7902. For commission column, we have a value of 40,000. For hire date, we have a value 17th of December 1980, and for the department number column we have a value 20. So let's select and run this query and see if the record has been inserted. So if you look at the log here, one row has been inserted into our employee table. So now let's look at that record, and to view the records in Oracle database we use the select keyword. Select star, which stands for all the columns from the table. Select star from table name, which is employee. So if you look at here, one record has been inserted with the name Smith and the employee ID 7369. Let's look at another example where we want to insert a record with the values for only 6 columns. So here is the query where we want to insert a record into employee table with having values for 6 columns, namely employee ID, employee name, job, manager ID, hire date, and department number. We do not have values for column salary and commission, right? So we have declared these 6 columns and their corresponding values. For employee ID, it is 7499. For employee name, it is Lilin. For the job, it's a salesman. Manager ID is 7698. Hire date is 25th February 1981, and the department number is 30. Please notice here the number of columns we have defined here are 6, and the values we have given here are also 6. Okay, now let's select this query and run this. So if you notice here, we have got the output that one record has been inserted. Now let's go and see the data in the employee table using the select star from employee query. We should have two records now. So if you notice here, the second record has been inserted and the values which we have given for the 6 columns are inserted properly, whereas those 2 columns, salary and commission, where we have not defined any value, they are coming as null. Okay, we have another way of inserting the record into a database table without using the column names. So let's look at the syntax of this, which is insert into table name, and then we will use the keyword values, and we can declare the values for all the columns which are there in the table. Let's look at one practical example to see how we can insert the record into a table without using the column names. So here is our query: insert into table name, which is employee, and the keyword values, and after this we can declare the values for all the columns inside the table. So we have 8 columns in our table and we have defined the values for all 8 columns. For instance, employee ID is having a value 7521, employee name is Ward, the job is salesman, the salary is 1,25,000, manager ID is 7698, commission is 50,000, the joining date is 22nd of February 1981, and the department is 30. So let's select this query and run this. So if you look at the log here, one row has been inserted. Let's see the data which we have inserted now using the select star from employee query. Now we should have 3 records in our table, and if you look at here, we have recently inserted 7521 employee ID whose name is Ward. So this is another way of inserting a record into a database table without using the column name. Here we need to keep one thing in mind: if we are not defining the column names in insert into command, we need to insert the values for each column in the table. So we know that we have total 8 columns in our table, and if we try to insert only 7 values for employee table, we will get an error. So this is the query: insert into employee values. Here we have only inserted 7 records. Here column commission value has not been populated. So let's select this query and run. We will get an error. So if you notice here, we are getting an error, not enough values. Meaning, if we have total 8 number of columns in our employee table, we will have to insert 8 values. If we do not have the value available for that particular column, you can either keep that as null, or you can simply close them as a single quote. So now if you look at here, we have total 8 values for this particular record, right? So now let's select this again and run the query. The record has been inserted. Now let's use the select statement and see if this John's record has been inserted or not. The employee John's record has been inserted with commission as null, right? So this is another way of inserting a record into a database table. That's it for this lecture. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you.